but was really versatile within that flow and have a lot of different options depending on your situation. And last but not least is mobility. Being a pirate, we really wanted her to be mobile as well. That translates quite a bit with how far, what kind of range she has a lot in her chains, right? So, as you'll see in the video where we'll be playing, she has an infinite chain that's a little bit different from what other heroes have. So that's going to be a cool thing there. But at the same time, you'll see that there's a lot of mobility there. So whenever she does like target swap or different attacks, she moves quite a bit in between. So you can use her in a group fight when your opponents are not like all bunched up and be able to go against multiple opponents and actually be able to hit them properly.
Absolutely awesome. So now this is the first For Honor character that we have that has a pistol. It's like a kind of like a flintlock. So what are like some other things that make her stand out, and make her unique to For Honor?
Yeah, so like you said, she has a pistol. So she's the first character that we have that has two wildly different weapons. Like we've had heroes before that had two weapons, but they're generally pretty similar. With her wielding a cutlass and a pistol, it's a little bit different. She has a bunch of moves that end up using the pistol. Don't worry though, like we're not in a shinobi type of situation where you can get shot constantly from off screen. That's out of the window there, but it should be good. Yeah, so she has that, and there's another little surprise that we have in store with her that I'll leave for in the video, but should be pretty interesting there.
I'm excited to get into the video. So again, just to recap, JC and Francis are gonna go through the Pirates moveset, feats, all that fun stuff, and then we'll come back, do our last thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this segment. So without further ado, enjoy.
All right, so hey everybody, welcome back. I'm JC. I'm here with Francis.
Hello.
Yeah, so we're gonna show you a bit how the pirate hero functions, works. So like I spoke about before, there was like three main pillars we're using for this character. One of them was, which was that she's easy to play. So that translates for us in this case with having a rather small moveset, but one that's quite effective. We also want her to be versatile, so you'll be able to see how that works being versatile in that she has a lot of depth. So even though her moveset is quite small, with a lot of her options, you have a lot of different attacks you can perform at a lot of different times, which is kind of interesting. It makes her very, very versatile. Maybe like you're gonna be in this situation I want to use this or that, so it's kind of interesting there. And we also want her to be mobile, which means that in a lot of cases she moves quite a bit when she performs her moves. That lets you like reach other opponents in group fights and stuff, so it's kind of interesting. So first, let's do the honorable thing here, Francis. Go. There we go. All right, so let's fight. So first off, her chains, rather simple. She has light into light from any direction. You'll notice that second light there is undodgeable. She has light to heavy. You'll also notice that heavy is also armored, so that's kind of interesting there. And she can do heavy to light and heavy to heavy. So nothing too complicated, right? Pretty simple. We're good to go. The interesting thing the hero has is that after every single heavy attack, you can hit the guard break button and you're gonna get a pistol blast, which uses the pistol in her left hand. So if the heavy attack hits like this, the guard break button like actually shoots a guaranteed shot. So that bullet is like if your heavy attack landed, the pistol blast of hers is always guaranteed. However, if the attack is blocked, we have this one that is dodgeable, right? So if Francis gets hit by it, you'll see we shoot the opponent in the stomach, but that attack is dodgeable, so that works quite well. The other thing that's interesting to note is that the pistol blast itself initiates chains. So I can go into heavy, pistol blast, into heavy, pistol blast, into light, for example, right? Which is pretty interesting. So that gives her a lot of an infinite chain that has to alternate between heavy and bash. The gunshot is considered, the pistol blast is considered to be a bash, so it's kind of interesting there. So that works quite well. The next thing we want to look out for is she also has an attack which is called Walk the Plank, which is performed by holding down on the left stick and pressing heavy. You can do that after any single attack, and it'll impale your opponent, and then there's multiple options out of it, right? So after a light, you can do this, impale your opponent, And you saw that I gave my opponent a little knee to the face there. So there's 3 different options to get out of it. So you can either do nothing, like this, like we said, knees, that wall splats. So if your opponent is close to a wall, you're gonna get bumped into a wall, then you can get another heavy afterwards or get more damage in. You can also do press guard break here for a quick gunshot to the face in this case. And what's also interesting here is that gunshot also initiates chains. So I can go gunshot into a heavy, keep going, do all that kind of cool stuff. So like that flow there is really interesting. It works quite well. That move can be used to gank. It works really, really well. And last but not least, you can dodge out of it to avoid other opponents. So that's kind of like the gist of that attack. On top of that, we have Dodge Word Heavy. Dodge Word Heavy is the first time we do something like this. The move itself is rather slow, but it's unblockable and armored. So it's kind of interesting that you can do it. Sorry?
So it's a spicy one, right?
Yeah, it's really, really spicy. It's pretty interesting. And on top of that, to make sure that it works well, it also soft feints to guard break. And keen eyes will notice that it soft feints to the fast version of a guard break, the one that we usually use after a feint. So this way, you can go like that really, really quickly. That soft feint also applies to the walk the plank as well. So those are 2 soft feints that she has here. Helps you defeat opponents that try to dodge, that sort of stuff, and parry attempts as well. She also has side dodge heavy attacks. These are heavies, so again, you can go into your pistol blast afterwards, like before. Pretty cool. And last but not least, we have her sprint attack, which is like this. Works well, has a big trajectory, kind of interesting. It also initiates chains and can go into pistol blast as well. And then her zone attack, which is, it's not the fastest one, but it also initiates chains. So you can go into your heavies, your lights, your walk the plank, whatever you'd like. That works really, really well. And the last thing we want to showcase for the hero's moveset is that she can dodge cancel out of everything, kind of like what we have on Orochi and some other heroes. So after any attack, she can cancel the recovery with a dodge, even on miss. Works on this as well. So what's interesting in this case is that, let's say I land a light, I can go into dodge for the heavy if I'd like to, or I can go into side dodge heavy, or I can go into this move here. I can do whatever I like, right? So it's pretty interesting how like she's really, really, really mobile and versatile, and that's what I meant. So after anything, whenever if you're in a group fight, if you're in a 1v1 or whatever happens, you have a lot of her options at your disposal after any attack that you land. So it's pretty interesting how she can go really wide, do a lot of different things, but still keep the pressure on opponents and be able to be a bit slippery. When I was talking about the range as well, we can see that those heavies go quite far in chains, and the same applies to a pistol blast, right? So again, the goal of this is to be able to target swap between opponents, be able to reach them. Her attacks have quite nice trajectories. She can hit a lot of different people around her, so it works really well. Okay, so now let's just do a quick showcase of what kind of things she can do, right? So let's go a little bit nuts here. And with a little execution right there.
Perfect.
That looks really sick. Okay. See, so like even with this, what I find interesting is that I was able to chain a bunch of different things that normally I wouldn't be able to. I started with a light, and that whole chain ended up like completely destroying Francis. It works quite well, so it's pretty interesting. So that's about it for the moveset. So we're going to move on to feats. Francis is going to explain to us a little bit how the feats function. All right, so let's talk feats. Francis, you want to run through the pirate's feats?
Yeah, for sure. So first feat for pirate is going to be one called Armor Piercing Slug. So it's super simple. You're just going to throw a bullet towards your enemy. When it hits, it's going to do a defense debuff and deal direct damage. Pretty simple.
Yeah, let's look at it. So from neutral.
Yep.
So it's pretty interesting too, because that feat is that feat actually lets you do range damage, right? Which is one of the things that we didn't want to have like on demand at all times, but you can still perform range attacks a little bit with her pistol.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So for feat 2, we have a feat called Pocket Bomb. This one is also pretty simple. You just throw a bomb at somebody. It has a small radius, and it deals also damage when it impacts. It also has a really cool animation. So
Yeah.
if you can do that one.
Let's have a look.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So for feat 3, this one is I think it's a really cool one. I don't think we have something like that in the game right now. It's called Trick Shot, and it's basically a projectile that will bounce on contact to another close target. And that feat can bounce up to 3 times, considering the initial target. It's a 4 attack if all the enemies are in the vicinity. So we can showcase that one.
All right, so let's look. So I'm gonna shoot it at the Yorm here, courtesy of Benjamin, that you guys know from the Warriors Den a bunch of times. So yeah, so it's pretty interesting, right? The bullet hit the Yorm and then bounced the Kyoshin, dealt damage, and applied bleed as well. Right?
Exactly. So it's also worth noting that this may sound like super strong, but you can also dodge it at any point to stop the ricochet from happening, right?
Okay.
So if you can do it again.
Yeah, I can't right now because it's still on cooldown, but we'll be able to do it. It's okay. So what's interesting there is how many targets can it hit?
So it's 4 targets, right? So we say it's 3 bounces with the first target. So basically just keep in mind that it's a 4 target attack. But at any point, right, if you're dodging, you're just going to stop the ricochet from happening to other targets nearby.
And can it hit minions? Can it do any of that stuff?
It can't hit minions. It can hit yourself or, other allies, but it won't bounce or ricochet from an ally or whatnot. It can hit the king in Breach, and I don't think it can hit the guardian.
Okay, all right.
But that's
All right, so what about feat 4?
So feat 4 is called Gunpowder Surprise. It's I'm just gonna let you showcase it.
Yeah.
Just because it looks super cool.
All right, so let's go.
So so this is basically Jormungandr's tier 4, but shootable, right? You don't get the armor from the Jormungandr. This can also hit the pirates, so you want to be sure to use it in a more strategic way than just using it when you're inside of